You're listening to the New Artist Workshop.
I want to belong to something like you, Pool Sir.
We all need a sense of belonging. We all need a genuine sense of home, a place.
I want to become a contract killer.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Hello and welcome back to your favorite podcast. Now that's what I call a franchise. I'm Peter Mancuso.
And I'm Viviana Metzger, and this is the show where Peter and I pick a film franchise and go through every single installment. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
And to be clear, we're defining a franchise as a series of films with at least 4 entries. So, Viviana, we've been doing the X-Men franchise. What are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about the 2018 film Deadpool 2, and this is your one and only spoiler warning, so if you want to keep up, pause, watch the movie, and come back.
Okay, so this is like the little letterboxed blurb to give us a sense of what the movie's all about. Wisecracking mercenary Deadpool battles the evil and powerful Cable and other bad guys to save a boy's life. Yeah, I guess so.
You gotta pay the troll toll to get inside that boy's soul.
It's boy's hole.
It's disputed.
Okay, so here's some basic info. This information is about as basic as it gets. So it was directed not by Tim Miller, who directed the first film. So as a new director, David Leitch. He co-directed John Wick. Though he was not credited. I don't know how you can direct something like John Wick but not be credited. Written by the same team as before, Rhett, Reese, Paul Wernick, but also now including Ryan Reynolds like as an official writing. He gets an official writing credit this time around. Of course, distributed by 20th Century Fox. Released in May 2018. The budget was about $110 million, so about double what the last film's budget was, the last Deadpool's budget was.
We saw that.
But the box office gross was $785 million, the most of any film in the franchise, but only a little bit more than the last Deadpool movie. So despite it being made for double the amount of money, it made the same amount. So it was not, technically, it was not as successful. If that makes sense. So I'm pretty surprised. I'm pretty impressed that it made that much. Like it is, like I said, it is the highest grossing X-Men film. Probably off of the coattails of the first one. Again, because that one was so popular.
Yeah, for sure.
So neither of us had ever seen this before.
No, because
I had never seen this. No. I haven't seen any of them. From this point forward, I haven't seen any of them. Yeah,
because like I was more, like, aware of it when this came out, but, like, I was like, oh, I haven't seen the first one, so, like, I'm not gonna go see the second one.
Yeah, like, that makes sense that you wouldn't go see it.
So, yeah, I just, like, I don't know, just didn't go.
Yeah, like, as we talked about in the last one, like, I think the first one's okay.
Yeah.
So when the second one comes out, it's not like I'm, like, oh my God, I have to go see it. Also, it didn't help that this came out, like, just a couple weeks after Infinity War came out, which, like, both then and now, like, it was, like, a mind-blowing experience for me, so, like, Deadpool was not on my mind. Like, if anything, I went to go see Infinity War again. You know what I mean? I wouldn't spend my money to go see Deadpool 2. So, a little bit of background on the movie. So the sequel quickly began development after the success of the first film. And in fact, I think they announced a sequel like a couple days before the first film even came out. Like they were that confident people would like it. Probably getting from some early momentum of reviews and early reactions. But so, they really kind of started developing it shortly after the success of the first film. In October of 2017, so that's about a year and a half after the first film came out, Tim Miller leaves the project.
Okay.
Citing creative differences with Reynolds.
Okay.
Mainly three main reasons, essentially, why. Number one, Reynolds got more expanded creative control. Not to say that he didn't have creative control before, but, like, even more so. Like, I think Fox very much attributed the success of the first film to him, despite it very much being, like we kind of heard about the last time, like, a 4-way kind of collab between
it's like with
Tim
Hugh.
Miller.
It's like with Hugh over the years. Yeah.
That's a really, I think that's like a good analogy.
Yeah.
Or comparison. So that's number one. Number two, there was a difference in how like they wanted the film to be. So Miller wanted it to be more stylized, where Reynolds wanted it to be more of like a raunchier comedy. And thirdly, Miller wanted Kyle Chandler to play Cable, but Reynolds did not. Kyle Chandler is Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights, among other things.
Yeah.
That's like his most famous role.
Okay.
But I mean, he was like the actor in King Kong. I think he's the dad in Super 8.
Okay.
Right? He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I love Kyle Chandler. His most recent like big thing, I think he was like the lead in the Netflix show Bloodline. Okay. Which I really liked the first season of, but he's kind of like a B-list kind of more TV actor. And I guess Ryan Reynolds didn't want him to play it. Sorry, Kyle Chandler.
Probably not because he's not good, but probably just like, I don't know. It just didn't fit the role. Wouldn't fit, like. Yeah. Because he's supposed to be like a good guy, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
America's dad is kind of like...
He is, you know what, though? He is America's dad. If this podcast doesn't work out, we should do a Friday Night Lights watch podcast. Because I fucking love that man. But anyway, so, like, all of these different things, like, Miller just basically kept coming up against, like, Fox being the mediator between the two of them, and Fox ultimately just like going with whatever Reynolds would want. Mm-hmm. So Miller ultimately kind of removed himself from the project.
Gotcha.
That's basically all the background I was able to find. Let's talk about what we thought. Kind of reflecting the amount of research I was able to do. Yeah. We could very much be wrong. You guys listening at home, you guys can just look down at your phone or your computer or whatever and see how long this episode is. So what I'm about to say could be completely wrong, but I have a feeling this is going to be like our shortest episode ever. I wrote less than a page of notes. And I don't know if it's because there's less of a page of stuff worth talking about, or just that's just however much I wrote. Mm-hmm. Normally, for reference, I usually write at least 2 pages, if not. But I think for Logan, I wrote like 2.5 pages.
Well, you're also going scene by scene. Are you going to go scene by scene in this?
No. I go scene by scene because there's things to talk about.
I know. I'm saying, are you going to do that for this one?
No. There's like 20-minute periods where I didn't write anything.
Well, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if there was something to talk about, I would have, is what I'm trying to say. Like, so I don't know. But the first thing I wanted to know, it was really funny because, as you guys know, Viviana was not a huge fan of the first film. Yeah. It was funny after the 20th Century Fox logo finished. Mm-hmm. Like, nothing had even happened. Viviana just, like, groaned. Like, she was like... So, I don't know if she gave this movie a fair shake. Maybe she... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what she thinks. But right off the bat, I was like, oh, well, you're really going into it with an unbiased perspective here.
I was not looking forward to this day of recording.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, right? Because I think we can agree... Like, oh, man. Would you rather watch this or X-Men Apocalypse? Like, X-Men Apocalypse, I feel is like, that's like, I think it's mediocre. But I mean, like, I wouldn't be mad if someone was like, that's just a bad movie. And I would be like, you're not wrong, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, because these are two very different, like, what would you rather... Well, I guess just to, like, remind viewers, because it's been, like, 2-3 episodes since we talked about Deadpool. Yeah, like, what, if you could summarize your thoughts on the original Deadpool for us?
Honestly, like, I don't even remember. I just remember, like, having a I wouldn't say deep, but a lot more than shallow kind of, like, hatred. So, like, kind of somewhere, not hatred, but it was just, like, so, like, I don't know. It was just not for me. This one was, like, a little better, but it was still just, like, not for me, like, I don't know, I just don't really like it. But I do think that, like, some of the, like, jokes and deliveries and stuff were better in this one. Yeah.
I found this one a little bit funnier.
Yeah.
It still had some, like, cringe in it. Yeah. Like, stuff where I'm just, like, I mean, me and Viviana were sitting here, and, like, we have notorious laughs. Yeah. Like, among people that we know. Like, if something's funny, like, we'll, like, it was like you could hear a pin drop. Like there was like parts that were meant to like elicit laughter from us, and we were just like silently just watching like you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
But it's so funny because now that I think about it, like Deadpool could just be a podcast because like most of it's VO anyways. And
well, I found a quote in doing some trivia from Reynolds is that the reason why they do so much voiceover is because it's like it's cheaper than like filming scenes that would give the exposition. No, this one has much less though, to be fair.
That's true.
The last one is
he
like
has his mask off a lot more than this one.
He does. Oh, but I just meant like in terms of like narration.
Yes.
Did you mean
that too?
Oh, did you mean VO just the fact like he has his mask on?
No, just in general.
Oh, just like the narration.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the same page. All right.
It's like reading a diary. It's like he's reading his diary.
Which I don't mind. That's the thing, is like I don't mind like
but it just bothers me, like I don't know, it just doesn't really land for me when it's like a VO for most of it, and also like breaking the fourth wall and also being super meta, and like I don't know, it's just like too much.
You think maybe like it should stick to one of those things?
Yeah, like one or two to really like perfect, like what you were saying about CGI, you know, like if you spread out the budget, it's all going to be kind of shitty, but if you just really focus on like one or two things, it'll look really good. So.
I see. Maybe I think the best breaking the fourth wall stuff is when it's not like voiceover. Mm-hmm. Like it's more like actually, and I think it also helps because we see his mask down a little bit. Like it's like actually in a scene.
Yeah, like okay.
There were some funny ones. I don't think this movie's funnier than the last one. I'm gonna say it.
This one, 10 out of 10 was a lot funnier than the other.
10 out of 10.
No, I just mean like objectively like was better. But just to like comment on how like crazy, not crazy, but like so like bombastic I feel like it is, like when it finally tried to like have some depth and some heart. Like I was waiting for a snarky response. I was waiting for a fourth wall break, like you know, like when she says like, oh, you need to go back to your family. I thought they were gonna point to us, like the audience.
Like,
yeah, because like why?
That would have been kind of funny. Yeah,
because like why else would he die? You know, like why would he not die?
Well, this kind of goes.
They want more movies.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Well, this brings up two things that I'm thinking about. Maybe this won't be the shortest one because we haven't even like gotten into my scene by scene. Well, you know what? If you wrote notes, then maybe I wouldn't have to go scene by scene. But otherwise, I won't remember what happened.
Well, you didn't like the notes that I took, so.
Yeah, that's true. It was just like she is cool.
Yeah, I just took that off my docket, gave myself a little bit less work. So. Yeah,
that's true. But anyway, what you're talking about, I think, is such a great observation, and it kind of reminds me of two kind of things I'm feeling about not just this movie but both movies. Number one. And they're kind of like intertwined. Number one, I don't think, I don't feel like these movies do a good job of balancing these two different tones. Like, I'm all fine with movies that are funny and like, I love a good dramedy.
Yeah.
But it's not a dramedy. It's like, I don't think they do a good job of, like, I think either one or the other, like, I think they're both, the dramatic parts and the comedic parts are perfectly strong in their own, like in a vacuum.
Yeah.
The comedy more so, the drama stuff less so, but they do not integrate it well. I do not feel like...
Especially coming off the first one, which...
I think the first one had the same problem.
Wasn't like, super dramatic either.
No. But like there's still like a lot in the beginning where it's like meant to be like a real movie.
Yeah.
Whereas
I guess so, yeah.
And I think I said this when we talked about the first movie where it's like, the trailer sold me on a super irreverent, raunchy action comedy, and I use the word irreverent very strategically in that, like, not irreverent like the humor is raunchy, but irreverent almost like it's not gonna take itself seriously. It's like the whole thing is like almost like a watch, like super well tuned, like you know what I'm saying, like, and I feel like the actual, like when you watch the first Deadpool, like a lot of it is just like normal generic movie stuff. With some like fourth wall breaking and it's cool to see a superhero say fuck.
Yeah.
This movie somewhat different, but it has that issue where it's like, I don't want you to try to be a real movie. Like I feel like the first 10 minutes I was like, holy shit, like I think I'm actually like really like this movie.
Yeah.
If it's like this for the rest.
It was not.
You know, I feel like because it was just like joke after joke after joke, and obviously I understand like you can't have, you know, like you want to like, you know, what do I want to say here? Like you don't want to like overload it, because if it's just wall to wall jokes, like there's no room to breathe. I understand that.
Yeah.
But the room to breathe can just be more low key kinds of jokes. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
I felt there was like little room to breathe in that aspect, because like especially towards the end, like it was just like I did not like my brain had trouble computing.
Yeah.
I was like the robots in the Mitchells versus the Machines,
which we just watched last night, and is infinitely funnier than this movie.
It's like dog, pig, loaf of bread.
Yeah,
because
that's how you felt.
Yeah, especially like with the
you're like comedy drama, like, loaf of bread.
like what? Especially like with the dying scene, like that was not funny to me. Like that was just like drawn out.
I think that was the point, I guess. Is like it's like the longest death scene that they could.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure some people find it hilarious, but I just found it annoying.
It's kind of like it's only funny because it's making fun of like these movies.
Yeah.
Like I think the funniest stuff in this movie and the other movie,
the jump where he hurts his knee.
Yeah, like the funniest stuff from both of these Deadpool movies is like when it's just a funny. Like the Zamboni thing from the first movie.
Yeah.
You know, like there's some other, you know, I don't know.
I don't know. Like, do people really hate those tropes as much as like this movie tries to pass that they do? Like, I mean, I don't mind the occasional superhero jump. I mean, like,
I don't know if it's one of those things where people hate it.
It's not physically possible, but like, you know.
I feel like the people who would hate that stuff aren't gonna like Deadpool. Like they just don't like anything like this. But I think it's more just like as a society, like superheroes. There's like the hegemony of the superheroes. No, hegemony is in terms of like the domination.
Okay.
Homogeny is something else. Yeah. Homogeny means like the complete like everything's standardized. Basically.
Yeah, that's what you.
No. They're not. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking of like homogeny versus like homogenous versus heterogeneous.
Yeah.
Heterogeneous would mean like more diverse
like
kind of thing. But anyway, the dominance of the genre that people like when it's pointed out like how overused things are.
Yeah.
And I feel like those things just don't stand up to the test of time. Like they're immediately dated. Like they're really only mildly amusing for like an audience in May 2018. And like obviously we're still dealing with these things.
Yeah.
But like in 30 years, are people gonna want to watch Infinity War or Deadpool 2? Like I feel like Infinity War. You know, like that's something that I feel like will stand the test of time a little bit better.
Execution too, because like something like that happened in Logan, but it was like funny, right? With
his death scene, you mean?
No, with the gate. Like they didn't drive through the gate; it like got stuck. So it's like. Okay, like, you know, something that, like, everything's been going right, and then, like, something doesn't go right. So it's like, change of plans. Yeah. But, like, whereas, like, this is always, like, oh, we gotta do this because it's a superhero movie, or, like, oh, you know, we gotta... Yeah. You know, it's like so obligatory, and it happens so much, I feel like, that it's just, like, not funny. It's just, like... do you even want to be a superhero movie? Like, do you hate them that much? Like, I'm confused.
But it's like, then go full just raunchy comedy.
Yeah.
Like, ditch the whole thing and just make it like a funny, raunchy action comedy, but it happens to be based off of a comic book character. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. I just feel like it doesn't... Comedy that's just pointing out, like, other stuff. Like, it's very reductive, and... ultimately, like, it's not really creating something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, I feel like that's like the biggest problem with the movie is that A, it doesn't know how to handle the tone differences. And then subsequently, it would have been better if they could just focus on like what the first 10 minutes was like.
Yeah.
Really, cause I think the opening bit, like, I think it was really funny. Like, we first start off, he's like depressed. He has like the little music box of Logan after he gets impaled through the tree, which is really
fucked up.
We were both pretty sad by that because we just watched Logan last night and like did our episode yesterday. So it was very fresh. in our mind. And I think this opening sequence does a good job, though, of not so much. It's not about being good or bad, but right away we see the extra budget. Like, there's a lot more like globetrotting, a lot more action sequences, a lot more VFX,
a lot more cameos.
A lot more cameos. And it's at least, again, up at the front, it's a much sillier than the last one. Like, I liked like the Dolly Parton, like the opening kind of action sequence set to 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Hold on, I have to sneeze.
Bless you.
Sorry. But I'm struggling to think of what to talk about.
I really just like watch it for the soundtrack, honestly, because it's got some bops thrown in there.
Yeah. But I think the action is much better in this movie, again because of that extra budget, but also it seems like there was a lot more thought put. Like
they do a lot more in this one.
The action, the set pieces are much grander, so to speak. You know,
cutting off lots of limbs and growing lots of limbs and.
Yeah, a lot more happens in this movie. I will say, at least. I think because the last movie was held back by the weird narrative structure that they employed, where they're like, we want to have an action sequence at the beginning of the movie, so we're just gonna pluck the middle of the movie at the front and then just like do all the exposition for like the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie can kind of have like a somewhat more traditional story structure.
Kinda, yeah.
So I will say that on paper, this story is more interesting. Again, I have doubts, like I have qualms with the execution, but
as soon as everything was set up, I totally called it. Like
you did. You literally like said exactly.
Like literally like point by point.
and maybe this is from the comics, but her and I definitely have no idea about that. So she.
No, I obviously have never seen this before, but I could totally like pan it out, you know, and it would have been cool to see it done in a different way. But I mean, this way was fine, I guess. It's just kind of classic, you know, kind of classic thing. But yeah, let's get into it, dude.
That's good. Well, I'm already kind of into it. I'm already about a third of the way through my notes. That's what I'm saying. We've only been talking for 20 minutes.
Okay, so basically.
Well, you know what? This one might be a little bit shorter, and then if we get a lot of responses being like, thank God so much shorter, you guys should keep it this short, then we won't do the 2-hour episodes anymore. I'm sorry, I don't mean for the episodes to be 2 hours long. I feel like we have interesting things to say.
Chatty Cathy. I think it's fine if it's long, as long as it's interesting.
I feel like we're very interesting and humble. You know?
Shut the fuck up.
See, that was funny.
Ha ha ha. Anyways, so basically we've got some time travel going on. We've got a sexy older what's his name? Josh Brolin.
You're thinking of Adrian Brody.
No. As you may know, he was Bran in The Goonies, and also Thanos, which I believe was also brought up in the movie. Mm-hmm. See, it's just like so meta. Like what timeline is this on? Like,
who cares? It's like don't even worry.
And
about
also,
it.
like if he kills himself in the Origins movie, then are things still set up the same? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, that's, I guess, a different version. Honey, it's Deadpool. You can't think about it. It's just for jokes.
Anyway, so...
Let's go back to the actual beginning of the story. So he's off. He's fighting crime.
Yeah.
He's doing things. He's killing bad guys.
He misses a few bad guys. They come back. They kill his girl.
Whoa.
What?
We gotta pad this episode out a little bit. You're jumping.
You don't have to make it long just for the sake of making it long.
No, but I want to talk about...
What?
They decide they want to have a baby. That's like an important part of the story.
Okay, yes. But she wants a cream pie.
She does. Whoa!
Well, she literally says, like, you need to shoot a baby inside of me.
I believe the exact verbiage was pump.
Oh,
Pump a baby.
Pump it up!
But yeah, they want to have a baby, but yeah, some people come to try to kill Deadpool, and one of them kills Vanessa. Yeah. Originally, she was going to...
Vanessa!
Originally, she was just going to break up with him.
What?
In the original draft of the story.
Oh.
No, not like in like the world of the story. Like, no, like she was gonna break up with him. But then the writers were like, no, Deadpool works best like when everything's taken away from him. So we're gonna kill her. And the actress was really mad because she basically got fridged.
Yeah, I mean, she was.
And then someone brought it up to the writers and they were like, I've never heard of that. What is that? Fridging. Like, what do you mean? Like, they didn't have any idea.
Who, a writer?
The writers.
Oh.
What do you think I said?
What? I thought you said...
The writers didn't know what fridging was.
Oh, I thought you were saying something.
They were just naive to this concept.
I thought you said that, like, someone went to the writers and they were like, what is a fridge?
No. What is a fridge? Can I use it to store leftover food?
Is there a Sub-Zero refrigerator running? Well, you better go catch it. Anyway,
that's a reference to the live action How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I think they know that.
If only there were 4 Grinch films. There's only 3.
Oh shit.
Well, technically, I think there's some other animated ones that had were kind of sequels to the. Maybe we'll do the Grinch at some point.
We'll do some sleuthing, trying to see.
See if we can make it work.
Anyways, they're trying to have a baby. Bitch gets killed. He's all sad, and then he's trying to commit suicide. Oh, trigger warning. Unalive.
He unalives himself.
Unalive.
Really tries to.
Sorry, unalive trigger warning. As someone who gets triggered by unaliving. Anyways, so...
Well, I mean, this is just so silly at this point. It's like...
I don't know.
Well, and also, did you feel...
No.
Triggered at all by...
No.
Oh, well. I feel like it's silly enough where it's like tonally not serious enough.
Well, I was very confused because, like, I was like...
Doesn't he know he can't die?
How is the movie... No, I thought he was going to die if he was, like, all in pieces, blown up, you know? I was like, oh, so there's no movie? Okay. But
if any movie would end after 20 minutes and then just be an hour of a black screen...
No, not a black screen.
No, but imagine if a movie did that, where you went and paid money to go see it, and then like it ended in 20 minutes, and then it was just like a black screen. I feel like people would just sit there being like, at some point they'll come back off screen and be like, it was just a joke.
Yeah.
Like, haha.
Like Vice.
Like what?
Like Vice.
Oh, how it kind of started to end, yeah.
I totally thought it was the end.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I thought it was just gonna be like what is it called? Like a flashback or whatever, like a jump back, and then just.
So you thought we saw the ending at the beginning.
Yeah. But
okay.
I didn't realize that he was so regenerative that he could. Yeah, that was disturbing.
I may have said this when we talked about the first Deadpool, but if he gets split up like that, do all the limbs start to grow back the rest of the parts of the body, and therefore are there a bunch of clones, like multiple Deadpools running around? Like, does the severed head grow back a body? Does the severed arm grow back a body? And just keep creating new Deadpools? It's like the Hydra!
No. You know what I'm thinking? So in the first one, he loses the hand, right? But like, it stays on the bridge, and then he grows another hand. So, but in this one, when he's ripped in half by Juggernaut, he comes back together. So I think it's like if they're close to each other, then they can like, kind of like, kind of like Venom, like kind of grab and then meld together. Whereas like if it's just somewhere else, like his foot is like, I don't know, on the street, then like, and he's in a house, then like the foot dies and he regenerates.
Do you know about the ship of Theseus?
No, I don't think so.
So the ship of Theseus is a thought experiment that deals with.
He's talking about psychology.
No. It's not about psychology. It's like a philosophy.
Oh God, my favorite subject. So
this has no point. This is just a build up to a punchline.
Oh, awesome. Great.
So the ship of Theseus is a thought experiment. Basically, this idea, like if you have a ship. Yes. And over time, you keep replacing parts of the ship, like little by little.
Oh, yes.
Eventually, all of the original pieces have been replaced. Is it still the ship of Theseus? And it's like this idea about like meaning and value and inherent, like
yes. I have heard of that. I didn't know the name of that, but yeah.
If Deadpool gets all of his limbs cut off, and is he still Deadpool? Or is he a new person?
Well, technically, we're new people like every 10 years.
Well, that's actually a...
like we shed our skin and hair.
That's actually a really good point, because when the ship of Theseus was, like, I think first thought up, I don't know if we knew that about humanity. Like, I don't know when that thought experiment was, like, devised, but yeah, that's a good point. Like, none of the cells that we have now were there when we were born. Or rather, or reverse it. None of the cells that we had when we were born are here. They've all died.
Yeah, because they die. Even with like tattoos where you basically like the cell holds the ink and it just kind of stays there. Even that like dies and then another cell takes its place to grab. Is
that why
the
they
ink.
fade?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyway. Back to the
Ships and tattoos.
So he tries to kill himself. It doesn't work. Colossus brings him to the X Mansion. I am skipping over the opening credit sequence, which is kind of like a James Bond kind of,
yes.
which I thought was kind of funny.
Yes.
I thought the imagery was actually pretty cool.
I like.
But then also it was kind of funny, like
one that was funny.
the flash dance. He's like posing, kind of like Kate Winslet in Titanic, kind of.
Yeah, it goes from like being sad to just like being sexy, which that was strange for me, but
I
don't know.
It wasn't strange for me, so therefore you're wrong.
Oh, okay, great.
So anyway, Colossus brings him back to the X
Sexism
Mansion
at work.
too. No, I'm just an asshole. Anyway,
That too.
so Colossus brings him back to the X Mansion. I did like the cameo with all the famous X-Men.
Yeah, that was funny.
But
What were you gonna say? Something else?
I don't even know what to say.
There were a lot of cameos. And
Yeah,
then,
there's cameos. They're at the X Mansion.
and then they get a call.
Wait. Yeah, they get a call.
Like
and,
a
we have to go-
superhero 911. You know, the red telephone.
Yes. So they go and it's the kid from Hunt of the Wilder People.
Was he in another one though?
He was in the Christmas Chronicles or the Santa Chronicles with Kurt Russell.
The Christmas Chronicle.
He was the villain in that. He was like the dejected elf.
Oh yeah.
And so he's a mutant and he has these fire powers and he's gonna like blow everyone up. And Deadpool kind of stops him, but then finds out that, you know, like they've been abusing him at this place. Like it's a place for mutants where they're like abusing them. So Deadpool's like,
was it just me or they're making a Deadpool 3. Wow. Guess you guys like it. Was it just me or did the flashback scene where like it shows the kid like getting tortured or whatever, like because it was like kind of gray and it was also on a stage, it really reminded me of Matilda. Was that just me? You know, when she makes...
you know what? I actually kind of thought that too.
Yes, when she makes the chubby boy eat the cake and then she bashes it on his head.
Yeah, I don't think they were doing that at this school. I think they were like torturing them at this school.
Yeah, I likened it to like shock therapy. What is it called? Shock therapy, like for
gay conversion therapy.
Yeah, gay conversion.
I think that's kind of like the implication where it's like they're trying to like
because like
them,
mutants
like, to
are
stop
not
being
like
mutants. Yeah.
you know godly or whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah. So, but the kid Russell, his name's Russell. He tells Deadpool that like they're like hurting him.
Yeah.
So Deadpool
That's
just
sad.
decides to like shoot them in the head.
Yeah.
And Colossus is like, "You have let me down for less time, 4 or 5 moments." And they send both of them, Russell and Deadpool, to like a mutant jail called the Icebox, where they put these like collars on them that basically takes away their powers.
Why did they go together? Why did they put them together? He's a child in this prison full of large
Grown men. I haven't seen any
men.
other children.
He's the only child.
Well, I think they think because they're like mutants, like you can hold your own.
I guess so, but like...
Well, I guess you can't because you don't have your powers, so... He's literally just a little boy. He's literally just a child.
Just a little boy. And also, can we talk about how, like, they have no privacy? At least, like, in like, real life jail, like, there's, like, walls, you know? So, like, people don't see you every single second of the day. But, like, there's just total, like, a straight-up glass box where, like, everyone will see you shit. Everyone will see everything. And then you get out and you're like going to the yard or like eating lunch or whatever. People always looking at you.
And something else I just thought of. Is this jail or prison? Like, are they awaiting trial?
No, technically it'd be jail or prison.
So did we just skip over the trial? Or was there a suspension of a fair trial because they're mutants.
Basically, yeah. Well,
This movie has so much to say about the prison industrial complex.
Well, to be fair, the kid like blew up a car and like was threatening to kill people, and then
Doesn't matter. Charles Manson got a trial.
and then Deadpool actually shot a dude in the head. But that's true.
matter.
Charles Manson did get a trial. And
Everyone deserves a fair trial.
And you know how he paid for it? With his beautiful voice. He's a very talented singer. Well, was. But unfortunately, he used his powers for evil.
Some would say he even had a beautiful way of seeing the world.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that.
Sorry, this is really I have nothing. I have so little to say. I'm devolving into making jokes about the Manson murders now. That was a real people really died, including a pregnant woman.
No, they saved her.
Oh, that's right. I did see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You're right. I totally forgot. Anyway, the movie. I think we said this before, but the movie has a lot of unmasked Deadpool.
Snap back to reality. Yeah, they do.
A lot of unprotected, just raw dog in it. The whole movie.
He does look like a pale avocado. Like
he looks like I don't know who said this, but he does look like an avocado had sex with an older, uglier avocado.
Well, she says it in the movie Domino, but she says like
No, I know who said it.
Like,
It was T.J. Miller in the last movie.
Oh.
Who was accused of, I believe, sexual assault.
No!
I think before this movie came out.
Shit.
But they had already filmed it.
Shit.
But this is like a piece of trivia I think that I found. So, do you remember like obviously the big Me Too?
Yeah.
You know,
of course.
but like the big peak of it, like fall of 2017.
Yes.
So this is like maybe 6 months before this movie comes out.
Okay.
And if you remember, Kevin Spacey gets accused.
Of course.
And he was supposed to be in the movie called All the Money in the World.
Okay.
And the studio basically, because this was back when studios were like, oh no, are we actually going to be held accountable for shit? So
Yeah.
they were so worried about backlash
Yeah.
that they literally recast the movie had already been shot. Like they had already been editing it. Like, it was supposed to come out in like a month.
Yikes.
They postponed it, recast the role as Christopher Plummer, and reshot all those scenes with Christopher Plummer instead of Kevin Spacey. And
Oh, that one. Oh, what are you gonna say about this one?
I'm gonna say, like, you know, they didn't do that for this movie. So there's a joke in the movie. I think it's kind of like a blink and you miss it. Like somewhere there's like a TV with like a news ticker at the bottom. It says, "Breaking news: Christopher Plummer will not be in Deadpool 2." Making a joke basically like as if like Christopher Plummer would like play TJ Miller's character.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's another one. Can't go on.
But so I don't think he'll be in any future Deadpool movies.
Yeah, which is a shame because I think his character's pretty funny. You know.
Weasel?
Like, yeah, he's kind of like the not Weasel. Wait. Oh. on Wikipedia. On Google, they have Brianna labeled as Weasel. Brianna, who's like the supersonic teenage lady.
No, she's not Weasel.
I know.
She's Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was
But
funny.
you're saying it's a shame he won't be in them anymore?
No, well, it's just a shame when, like, you know.
Well, it's a shame when someone has to go through what that woman had to go through.
Yeah, I know. As a survivor, I know. I'm just saying that it sucks when, like, good characters, good actors for, you know, characters, they really embody it. It's you know, they're poop heads in real life. And just for some context, so everybody knows, we have a wall of men on our wall in our kitchen. And not in a weird way, but in a...
It's kind of weird.
Well, I guess so, but it's really the last shining hope. It's a wall full
It's men that we hope they don't turn out to be criminals.
It's men who have not been accused of sexual assault and
Murder is
we
allowed.
can look up to. No, there are no murderers on the wall.
Well, I'm saying if we wanted to put a murderer up, as long as they didn't like do any sexual crimes.
No,
it's okay.
usually murderers do sexual crimes.
Damn it! Okay.
Jay Dahmer?
Fuck. Okay. TJ Miller is also in Big Hero 6 as the one who's like in like the weird costume.
Oh,
The one like the weird lizard alien costume. The one
yeah.
whose dad is Stan Lee.
Stanley's son.
I wonder if if they ever make Big Hero 7.
I think that's because of the number of people in the group. Not
Oh, there weren't 5 other I was wondering why you started me with that one.
It's not
You
a
showed me Big Hero
sequel.
6. No, I know. I fooled you.
You dumbbell.
See, this is what the people want to hear. We shouldn't even. You know what? The next episode, we're not even gonna watch an X-Men movie. We're just gonna talk for 2 hours. Just because I feel like everyone who makes a podcast is like, we should make a podcast. Just listen to our conversation right now. We're so funny. People would love to listen to this shit. We should just record ourselves right now. And then they record and they have nothing interesting to say.
Okay, for anyone who is very confused by that very weird and annoying high-pitched voice that Peter just did, that was like his imitation of like a Portuguese grandmother living in Rhode Island, like the and he would know. He grew up in Rhode Island.
I did, though I'm not Portuguese.
No, but he has some Portuguese friends.
I do. Well, anyway, back to the movie. So they're in the jail, and Russell's like kind of, I think, like indebted to Deadpool, you know, because he like kind of saved him.
Yeah.
But Deadpool wants nothing to do with him.
He's like, okay, maybe I.
Because it's kind of like Logan, like he doesn't want to open up, kind of.
I guess so.
But then the jail, or excuse me, the prison, it's past the trial.
They've been sentenced to death.
The jail gets attacked by Josh Brolin as Cable, who has come back
Really dumb name.
has come from the future. He's back from the future.
Yes.
And
I gotcha.
You do? And he comes back to kill Russell, but we don't know why yet.
Yeah, because for a long time they fake us out. We think that he's going
Coming
after
for Deadpool.
Deadpool, but he's really coming for little Russie.
And essentially Deadpool somehow like escapes is the wrong word, but essentially he's fighting Cable, and then they get blasted out of the prison or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it's revealed, but yeah, so it's revealed that Russell grows up to
Be a mass murderer.
And kills Cable's family. So it's kind of like the whole like going back in time to kill Hitler kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's also very
Like moral question, you know.
It's also very parallel to Deadpool's situation because like I guess that's his job. He's like a mercenary or something.
Kind of. And also the fact like they both lost their family, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like even though Deadpool never actually had kids, like you know what I mean? He's lost them.
Yeah. And it's like he didn't catch all the bad guys. So like, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Rip.
Also,
what?
We'll talk about it later, actually.
Oh, okay. So Deadpool feels responsible to save Russell.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know why he wants to kill Russell yet, though. I kind of jumped the gun.
But before all that happened, when he got a moment with Cable before getting blasted out of the building, and he was like, "Oh, I don't care about Russell. Like, whatever. Like." We're not friends, we're not partners, or whatever. Yeah, and Russell was right there, and he was like,
And he was really sad.
He was like, bro, what the fuck, man? Like, and then, yeah.
Okay.
Continue.
Everyone got that? Good.
You skipped a really big part of the fucking plot.
Well, because he was already kind of sad.
No one cares that they got blasted out of the building.
Well, that's how he got out of jail. Excuse me, prison. They've already been sentenced.
Okay, great. He could have escaped any other way.
Okay. Anyway, he's like, I gotta save Russell. Because he kind of like sees Vanessa in a vision, and for some reason he gets the idea he's like, I have to protect Russell. So he is like, I need to develop a team, X-Force, which is from the comics. And I believe, I could be wrong, and everyone's gonna start typing in the comments that I'm wrong. I believe X-Force like predates Deadpool, or like I think Deadpool first appeared in X-Force.
Okay.
And then later his own solo thing. So that's from the comics. I'm not sure if it has all the characters that it has in this movie. Clearly not Peter, just like the regular dude.
Who's Peter?
Just the normal dude on the team.
Oh, yes.
That's my name. So he gets together the team. The team interview montage is funny, especially we get some good cameos. The best one being Terry Crews.
Yes.
Well, the best one being Brad Pitt, but you don't know he's Brad Pitt.
Oh, that was so weird. That was so random.
Well, because I think the point was like Ryan Reynolds, I think, said in an interview, he was like, it just fits the Deadpool spirit of like, let's just get the biggest movie star in the world to have like a 2-second cameo in this movie.
Okay.
And just like get killed like immediately.
Oh, and also it.
And also separately, when Cable, like, so you know when Cable like arrives in the present,
Yeah.
and the two like trucker dudes are discussing toilet paper.
Yes.
The dude talking about toilet paper
Yeah.
is a famous cameo, and he's wearing a bunch of prosthetics. You're never
Who?
gonna believe who it is. Matt Damon.
What?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is. It's Matt Damon
What?
with prosthetics doing like the thing like so first you. So the toilet paper's your appetizer.
Oh, Redneck number 2.
Redneck number 2.
What?
Maybe he's the first one. I don't know which one he is. Yeah,
No,
but,
it's Matt Damon, Redneck number 2.
but I don't know who is which. Is what I'm saying.
Wow.
So they get this team together, and this is where we get introduced to Zazie Beetz. I would say she's my celebrity crush, but that would imply that I only have one. I have dozens and
He has
dozens.
many.
I have scores of celebrity crushes, but she is one of them. I love Zazie Beetz. I think she's a phenomenal actress. She's so charismatic. She's gorgeous. All the things that my girlfriend is, Viviana is, but Viviana is even
Nice
10 times.
save, buddy. Nice
Viviana's
fucking
10 times
save.
the woman.
Whatever.
But she's not in Deadpool 2, so I can't talk about it. But yeah, so it's convenient though because she's the only one who really survives out of the rest of the team.
Yeah, that was not how I thought that was gonna go. Like, I thought like the wind would kind of blow them off course, but I didn't realize they were all gonna get like fucking wood chipped like it's fucking Fargo. Like,
Well, I think the point was like they get all like these famous cameos just to have them all die, and in fact, they actually filmed extra scenes for the trailers. So like you thought they were in the movie more?
why would you spend your budget on that?
Well, it wasn't a lot of money because they only had like a day or two of shooting.
I guess so. Like, huh?
Well, they did have $110 million. You know,
Yeah, they
there's
were-
homeless people
you know
all
what?
across Los Angeles, but you know they can
Yeah.
pay $110 million. Like I always think about that with movies, like we forget, like, and obviously a lot of people like that's their job, and like they're also hardworking, working class people, like the below the line people,
course, of course.
but the budgets on these things are so exorbitant. Like think about like what
Yeah.
people like we could do as a society with $110 million. Like I know it's not a lot like societally, but like think about how many movies, like how much money is spent on filmmaking.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a filmmaker. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying like art is used.
I've seen plenty of good student films made for $20.
Made for a ham sandwich.
No, just kidding. But yeah, that's a lot of money. Maybe they.
It's
you know
very
what?
violent. We can see a lot of violence in this part.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like maybe they did everything and they had like some extra money and they were like, you know, it'd be really funny to pay like Brad Pitt and Matt Damon like $1 million for like 2 seconds.
I think I read that Brad Pitt it was only about 30 minutes of filming.
Cause he's invisible most of the time.
I imagine that's not even him when he's invisible. It's just
No, I
like,
just figured some random person in a green suit, like
green screen suit. Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, so they are trying to go rescue Russell, who's being transferred in this big truck. But oh no, Cable's also trying to get him.
Oh no.
Oh no. So it's like who's gonna get to him first? But luckily Russell has made a new friend at the prison. Juggernaut, bitch!
Who is conveniently right next to him in the car and not
Yeah.
in another convoy that got smashed earlier.
Yeah. Where was I? Where am I? Who are you?
One is trying to kill him, one's trying to rescue him, and the lucky lady is driving.
Anyway, the whole truck gets flipped over. Juggernaut is there to help Russell. Deadpool gets like sliced in half. And I really do like the dynamics between Deadpool and Domino. Like I think they have a good like chemistry.
Yeah.
I want them to hook up. That's what I want.
Well, his girlfriend is dead. Well, fiance. Wait, did they get married? He proposed. Maybe they're married.
That's a good question. I don't know. We never see.
His domestic partner is now deceased, and now he has the capability of loving Domino.
Yes.
Even though he looks
I like how she. Yeah. Well, at this point now, he's just like a torso. I like how she kind of carries him like Yoda, like Luke does it with Yoda on his back.
That's so gross.
And I gotta say, I feel bad for Cable. You know what I mean? I will say, although I said, like, I don't think they balance the tones well, I will say Josh Brolin is, like, a great actor. Like, I like him in everything I see him in.
Yeah.
And he sells
Goonies.
it.
The Goonies.
Of course, the Goonies, yeah.
At first
I hate the Goonies.
I don't know why you hate the Goonies. It's like a great film, and
Well, luckily, Goonies did not have 4 films, so luckily we don't have to talk about it on this show. Or ever.
because nothing could compare. But anyways, you know what he kind of looks like? He kind of looks like that man in Spider-Man who looks like John Cena. Like with that haircut and everything.
Yeah, so the guy who plays Sandman, yeah. I forget.
Who's apparently not John Cena, but he looks like.
It's not John Cena. No, if you looked at them side by side, you would go, "Oh yeah, they're not John." You just haven't seen Spider-Man 3 in like years, so you just like don't remember what he looks like. But anyway, yeah. So Cable comes to Deadpool and Domino and Weasel and explains like all the stuff with Russell in the future and explains why he has to kill him.
Yeah.
And Deadpool's like, no. Also, Deadpool is now growing his legs back and he has like a little baby dick with like little toddler legs. Yes. It's just very strange. They really took the gross little hand from the first movie and just upped it.
Yeah. Also, they really cut Al out of this because, you know, and also we find out her real name. What was it? It was like Althea or something like that.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, he says it one time. But, you know, she's funny. And I wish there was more of her. But other than that. Continue.
Okay. So, they all go to try to stop. Basically, what's going to happen is that Russell's going to go try to kill the headmaster of this school.
Cause he smashed a plate over his head.
I guess it's kind of supposed to be like an evil inverted version of like Professor X and like the X-Men school where it's like one tries to like encourage them.
Also, apparently Juggernaut and Charles are brothers.
That's from the comics, yeah.
What? How could one be a brainy guy and then the other guy be a giant guy?
I don't know.
I guess you could say they really are brains and bronze. I just came up with that.
You just came with it right now?
Yeah.
That joke, that caliber, I would have figured it took you a year to hone, workshop on different audiences at stand-up clubs.
Shut up! I just found this out. I don't read comic books, as you may know. Like,
no, but the joke is just so sophisticated. And basically what's going to happen is that Russell's going to kill the headmaster, and Cable says that's what's going to set him off on this path. Like, he gets like a lust for killing, like Kirsten Dunst in Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah. Or Jeffy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Deadpool's like, if we can stop him from killing the headmaster, then he won't go down this road.
Yeah.
So give me the chance to save him.
Yes.
Before you kill him. And Cable reluctantly agrees, and they all go.
He's only got 30 seconds to save this dude.
Again, these sophisticated jokes. Are you sure you're just coming up with them on the fly?
It's all Deadpool's fault, you know.
All Deadpool.
All the little quips and stuff.
You're a quipper.
I'm a quipper snapper.
They just keep coming. You're like an endless font.
I'm on a roll today, baby. A sushi roll.
And we'll roll you down the street.
Like Violet.
Yeah.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
So Russell goes to the school with Juggernaut, and they go and they start looking for the headmaster. Yeah. The X-Force goes. They fight. I don't know. It's an okay third act.
It's like very scary how against the mutants they are. Like,
it's kind of like they never explain. Like, we never get any it's kind of like ever like this guy. The headmaster's literally in like 2 or 3 scenes total.
Yeah,
total.
Well, it's like the one who flew over the cuckoo's nest or something. It's like they like just straight up hate the people that they're supposed to take care of. Like, super weird.
Yeah. Oh, but also Colossus. They get Colossus to come help.
Yes. He does a little say anything.
Oh, he does the say anything.
Yeah.
Of course, classic. And Colossus, he's basically there so him and Juggernaut can fight. So we get a big CGI battle.
Of course. Which he points out.
Though I will say it was pretty funny when he pulled down Juggernaut's pants and we saw his butt cheeks, and then he shoved an electrical. Basically sexually assaulted him.
Yeah.
Which is never funny, except right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, he gets electrocuted in the pool, so it's like, it's like... Because the rest of him is covered,
You
so
could say
I guess...
justice is served.
I guess, like, that would be the only way to get him, like...
Yeah, but I think it gets shoved up his rectum,
Look at us. Rationalizing. Essay.
I know, I'm sorry, it's just...
After all that shit about Singer.
I'm sorry! It's just... They couldn't have found another
If
way to
it's
kill him.
in the name of justice, okay? Bad guys... I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Again, we get more...
That was fucked up, though.
We do get more prison rape jokes in this movie, which aren't great when he talks about, like, yeah, you're going to be known for the softest mouth.
Oh, yeah. Which is so weird, because he's a kid.
Yeah, it's just... Like, we're joking here, but in all seriousness, it's like, can we move on from jokes like that? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, prison rape is not funny. And
it's a problem.
As someone who's done a lot of research on prison...
I'm sorry, we're not making jokes. But I thought you were going to say, for someone who's done a lot of prison rape, it's not funny.
What? No! Basically, my thesis was about prison and whatnot. And sometimes people who go in for petty crimes, well, mainly jail, not prison, because prison is like, a separate thing. It's more long-term. But like jail,
Jail is like the pre-trial place.
Yeah, but it's like, sometimes it causes more trouble than it aids, a lot of times. Like in, what is it, American Me? Mm-hmm. When he like gets raped the first night. For like trespassing, and then now he becomes like a gang lord. I don't know.
So you could say that this film is a comment on that because Russell leaves that prison far worse than he went in.
This is true,
and sets him off on his path.
And also, like
the apocalypse that Cable comes from literally happened from the prison industrial complex.
Yeah, because also a lot of people, if they don't feel like they're loved or cared, like have no place in this world, then they're gonna want to lash out, right? Exactly how Russell was doing.
Mm-hmm. Though it is,
commentary.
And it is, and I will say, it's cool to see a plus-sized superhero, even though he's kind of the villain for most of the movie. So it actually kind of not, but
just him being on screen, anyways. I guess
just on screen.
They were like, you know what? We need a kid in this movie. He'll do.
He'll suffice. No, I mean, because he was in a movie called Hunt for the Wilder People, directed by Taika Waititi.
Are they related?
Who?
The boy and Taika Waititi.
No.
Oh.
They're both from New Zealand.
They just work together. They sound alike. They kind of look alike.
Look alike?
What?
Ma'am. Just because you're a person of color does not mean you can say such things.
No, I don't mean it like that. Like, Waititi, Taika Waititi.
No, they're not related. Anyway, Ryan Reynolds saw him in Hunt for the Wilder People and loved and wanted him to be in Deadpool 2. So that actor was the only person who read for, like, they didn't audition anyone else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was, like, very much picked to be in the movie because he, you know what I mean? I think that was, like, Taika Waititi's, like
his
kind of like
mentee.
No, I'm just saying I think that movie was kind of like Taika Waititi's big break. Well, he also did the movie called What We Do in the Shadows, which is like a remake of a movie from the 70s. I think that was kind of like the last big movie he did before Thor Ragnarok. But anyway. So they do some fighting.
Okay.
Cable tries to shoot.
They look like they could be brothers or like cousins or something.
Whatever you have to tell yourself to sleep at night. Anyway, so Cable tries to shoot Russell. Deadpool is like, I have to save this kid, so he jumps in front of the bullet. But he puts on like the collar from the prison, so he'll die.
The powers.
Yeah, basically to prove to Russell like I care. Mm-hmm. And then Deadpool, he starts to kind of die. But then they realize that the timeline's been fixed. Because Cable's been carrying around his daughter's like charred teddy bear. But the teddy bear stops being charred.
Yeah.
So he's like, everything's been fixed. And then Deadpool has this super long death scene. And he dies, and he gets to see Vanessa, and he gets to be sexy again. He gets to be sexy Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, I'm in heaven now. And then she's like,
it's not your time.
Nope, gotta go back. Classic movie thing.
Classic. And it's kind of funny because now it's just like it's like a cliche, like it's not your time, but it's funny because the reason why he's able to come back is through time travel. So it's like not your time. I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
So this is the part where I thought that they would like turn to the screen and say like your family, like, or whatever, like you need to go back because it's not your time because like the audience needs you or whatever. But instead she looks at the guys through, I don't know, like a wormhole, like I don't know. And
you know what movie they should have looked at?
They see the family. What?
You know what movie they should have looked at as like a reference for like good fourth wall breaking? The Muppet movie. And I'm not even like no cap, like dead ass right now. No, seriously, because the Muppet movie is like the greatest movie ever made.
When did they break the fourth wall?
Like literally every other scene. Remember when it's like Fozzie starts telling the Electric Mayhem like what the backstory? He's like Kermit's like you can do it, you'll bore the audience, and then Fozzie looks at the camera like oh sorry. Like if they had done stuff like that, it would have been funnier. Where it's like you know, like you have to get back to your family, and Vanessa like looks into the camera. It's like oh. I didn't see you there. You know what I mean? Like if they did more stuff like that, like I feel like they did, like I don't know, like
if you're gonna do it, do it.
Like do it, yeah. They just, in this movie, they just break the fourth wall just to be like, oh, Green Lantern sucked, didn't it? Like I don't know, like the Muppet movie is like the best example of fourth. Well, sidebar, the Muppet movie is just like the greatest movie ever made. We'll have to do the Muppet franchise at some point.
Anyways, the boy gets saved because John Cena, he brings him back.
Cable?
Just
Josh Brolin?
Josh Brolin.
Anyway, yeah, because Cable has one more use of his time travel thing to go back to his future.
Supposed to go
but
back,
he uses it to save Deadpool.
And he gives him back his little token.
We forgot to mention Deadpool's anniversary gift was a token from the arcade they went to on their first date.
Yes.
Cable stole it for him when they fought. So then, to save his life at the end, when he goes back in time, he puts the token like by his heart so he get blocks.
It's kind of like a take from Rush Hour when, you know, Chris Tucker, he gets stabbed in the chest, but he doesn't die because of the wads of money in his coat that he took earlier. So yeah, basically a spin-off. But but also I find it funny that he did this because he was like, "Oh, my family's gonna be fine. Like I'll stay here for a little while," but your family wouldn't exist if you didn't do that, right?
And also, Deadpool fixes the time machine thing anyway, so he could just go back to his family.
That's true. Okay.
If any of you are really into ASMR, this is for you.
Ew. Some people are cringing right now.
Yeah. Anyway, and then they're like, we're a family now. And the movie's
what
over.
What a ragtag team.
And the post-credits scene I think is pretty funny. So I guess Vanessa doesn't end up dying. She doesn't end up dying. Like he stopped the bullet. He also goes back to kill his self from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah. He kills himself for
accepting Green Lantern.
He's like, this is it. This is the big leads, buddy.
So that stuff was kind of funny. Like
yeah.
And then the movie's over.
Yeah. There was no scene after that.
So technically, there was no scene after that. So.
No, I just mean like sometimes.
By definition, yes, it was.
No, I just mean that sometimes, you know, like there's 2 post-credit scenes.
Yes, I see. So it's only been about an hour.
That's fine.
So why don't I go get the phone book and I'll just read off names. Just to pad
hate. Double entirely.
So let's just do some trivia and get this
trivia, bro.
You're gonna get it. Get ready.
Give it to me, baby.
Okay. The footage of the X-Men closing the door in the expansion, as like the cameo, was shot on the set of X-Men Dark Phoenix and sent over to the Deadpool crew.
Yeah, I figured it was
because they were all together.
I figured it was taken from something. It wasn't filmed for this.
Yeah, because they actually were all filming this. Dark Phoenix and New Mutants were all filming at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And I believe actually that this and Dark Phoenix both finished production on the same day. Actually.
Wow, twins.
Twinning. Over the childish doodle that is Deadpool's action plan. You can notice that the DMC prison sports a drawing of Wolverine tagged as Prisoner 24601. That's Jean Valjean's prison number in Les Mis, played most recently by Hugh Jackman. They just love making fun of Hugh Jackman.
One day more.
Okay, this next one's kind of sad.
Yeah, I kind of read it a little bit earlier. Also, I just like
you can't read the trivia before.
No, I just skimmed it. I just skimmed it.
Come on.
But
it's
also,
not fun if you know it before.
Also, I didn't read all of it. I said I skimmed it, like skim milk. Anyways, also, just one last thing. I just wanted to say that Zazie is a very...
Zazie
is a very...
Zazu!
It sounds like Zazu!
From Blanket.
But it's also cute, I guess.
Anyway, what were you going to say about her?
That it sounds like Zazu.
Oh.
But if it's Zazzy, then it's
I predicted what you were going to say.
Then it's like Zazzy Beats. You know, like sassy beats. Like
okay. That was a great preceding this very sad thing.
Let's do this trivia.
Okay, on Monday, August 14th, 2017, stunt woman Joy Harris died in a motorcycle accident after losing control and crashing into Shaw Tower. Harris, the first African-American female professional road racer, was working on the film as a stunt performer for the first time and had only joined the production a week before.
What?
Harris was not wearing a helmet because the character she was portraying, Domino, does not wear one in the scene, and there had not been time since she joined the film to create one for her to fit under the Domino wig because she had just joined the production like a week earlier. She had 2 full days of rehearsing the stunt as well as 5 more attempts on the day of the fatal collision. Veteran stunt double Melissa R. Stubbs had been available and willing to do the stunt, but the inexperienced Harris was preferred due to her skin color being similar to Zazie Beetz. This decision was criticized by multiple stunt professionals, with many noting that Harris's experience racing motorcycles did not necessarily qualify her as an able stunt performer. Production was shut down immediately after the incident, but resumed after 2 days. With the news also came reports that the film's crew were, quote, enduring very long hours and were, quote, exhausted by the schedule, with Fox Studios confirming that some days had increased from the scheduled 12 to 13 hours of filming to over 15 hours.
What?
So it just goes to show, and definitely,
there are many problems in that little blurb you just gave.
At the time of this recording, but especially the time that you're probably listening to this, like, it's been a while, but, I mean, this is still very relevant with the death of Helena Hutchins, the DP on the movie Rust with Alec Baldwin.
Yes.
Obviously, that's a very different situation, but just, like, on-set safety is something that often gets overlooked.
Yeah, super important, like...
You know, you never think it's going to happen to you. On your set, you know. In fact, at NYU, we had like a whole production course called production safety that like we had to take. It was like a requirement.
Yeah,
it was actually really.
That's good. Yeah.
It was kind of like, I don't want to say it was like a joke class because like it was pass fail. It was very easy.
Yeah, I mean it's like a. Yeah.
But it was still cool, and like literally our final project, like we were broken up into groups, and we each had to do like a presentation on like different famous, like I'm sure this will now be one of them.
Oh, like accidents?
Yeah, like one of them being like Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son dying on the set of The Crow.
Yeah.
Very similar to the Helena Hutchins thing.
Yeah.
This is not relevant to Deadpool 2, but since we don't have much to talk about.
It's
no, I was gonna tell a story.
It's part of it. Oh, sure.
But I mean, there's been, especially like, this is a big problem on indie films because they can't afford always like stunt performers, or like they skirt
medic
like
on hand.
or just having like someone on set who can just like, you know, like sometimes if it's like a police officer, just someone to kind of like be there just to like make sure, you know, a lifeguard if you're shooting something on. I mean, like, full disclosure, I shot something on a beach and we didn't have a lifeguard. To be fair, though, there was nothing in the water.
Yeah.
But technically we were supposed to have a lifeguard, but we didn't because I couldn't
Well,
find
were there
one.
people on the other side of the beach, or you rented out the whole beach?
No, we didn't rent out the whole beach. There was other people on the beach.
Oh, okay, so like...
But there was no lifeguards there because it was pre... I don't think it was like post hours. It was post the hours that they were... But anyway, we heard about stories like at Emerson College. They were filming on a roof that didn't have a parapet. Like, you know, like the things blocking it. And the DP was like walking backwards filming and they fell off and died.
Oh my God.
And this isn't a student film, but it was like a very low budget film. There was a indie film and they were filming, I think it was like in Georgia or somewhere, and they were filming on train tracks. And it was like a kind of an indie, like experimental art film.
They got stuck.
So there was a bed. The whole point she was like asleep, and then she like wakes up in her dream, but the bed is like on the train tracks.
Okay.
And instead of like coordinating with like the local town, they just like read the train schedules and was like, okay, we have time, but like one of the trains like came early or something. And obviously they heard it. but they were trying to like remove stuff and get it off the track, so they weren't on the track anymore, obviously, because it's like very easy to just get out of the bed.
Yeah.
But when the train smacks a bed and other equipment, it like ricochets. So like 2 people were killed.
Oof.
And that director and producer, I think, were like it went to trial.
Yeah.
And they like were sentenced. So it was like a really big deal, like, because oftentimes, also like in the 80s when they filmed the Twilight Zone movie, there was like a famous incident with John Landis. Because that movie's directed by like a bunch of different people. Like there's like different segments of that movie. And one of the segments involved like basically these people got like essentially decapitated by like a falling helicopter.
Oh my god.
Like there was an accident and like John Landis, but like it was like people had concerns with the safety of the scene, but John Landis just like pushed it through and they just did it and
Wow.
Anyway, not to making this very serious, which is probably the silliest and goofiest X-Men film, but anyway, so this film performer unfortunately died. I can't remember hearing about this when this happened.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's just like we're still like watching Walking Dead, and there was a scene where like 2 characters were forced to play Russian roulette, and like I totally thought about what was her name?
Helena Hutchins.
Helena. Like what if someone forgot to check, or like like they were fucking around beforehand and then like didn't clear it out and like something actually happened, so it's like very that roof thing is crazy. Like no one thought to say, hey Jimmy, like don't go back one more step, like jeez.
I guess so. Maybe he just tripped on something and kind of stumbled backwards.
Maybe if he's DP, he's probably holding like a big rig.
Okay, well, anyway, let's move on to some lighter fare.
Lighter note.
At the time of its release, Julian Dennison, aka Fire Fist, was 15 years old and ineligible to see the film in his homeland, New Zealand, due to the R16 rating. But that's in New Zealand.
Yeah, but
not in America.
It's still the same thing in America.
No, I think we have different rules if you go. Like they may not even be allowed to go with an adult. I don't know the rules in New Zealand. Whereas in America, you could be like 12 or 13 and go see an R-rated movie as long as you're like with an adult.
Parent,
if you're like an adult or some kind of other,
under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Age varies.
But in New Zealand, it may be like you cannot go in. I don't know. At the 2018 San Diego Comic-Con, all the restrooms in the San Diego Convention Center had toilet seat covers with Deadpool's face on them with text reading, "This was all Fox could afford."
What the fuck?
See, like, the marketing for these movies is better than the movie. The music that swells over Deadpool's death scene near the end of the film is the same score used in Logan for Wolverine's death scene.
That's fucked.
After Deadpool has his legs torn off by Juggernaut, he hangs out at his old place with Blind Owl while they grow back. During this time, he wears the same shirt that Chunk wears in The Goonies, which also starred Josh Brolin. Ryan Reynolds says Josh Brolin did not notice. This was pretty funny. One scene that was cut from the film following test screenings was a post-credit scene featuring Deadpool traveling back in time to kill a baby Hitler.
Oh my gosh.
It was decided that the scene made audiences too squeamish, which was not the feeling that the creative team once wanted. That the creative team wanted people to be leaving the film with. And then the last thing is something called Once Upon a Deadpool. And what Once Upon a Deadpool is, so this almost like warrants its own little like background research section.
Okay.
But I'll just kind of summarize it. So when the first movie came out, obviously it was super popular.
Yeah.
Right. And it was R-rated. So there was like kind of like people make really dumb like change.org petitions for things that like will never happen.
Sure. Yeah.
One of those was like make a PG-13 version of Deadpool. Like recut it.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, that's like stupid. Anyway, so for
the kids.
Yeah, but for Deadpool 2, they decided to, and they released it in theaters.
Oh.
But they do it in Deadpool style, where the setup for it, it's basically the same movie, just with stuff cut out. There's like extra scenes.
The second one, not the first.
Just the second one.
Okay, yeah.
But the framing device, this is really funny, and I want to watch just like the framing device scenes. Mm-hmm. It's basically riffing the Princess Bride, because in that movie, the grandfather reads a story to young Fred Savage, and he like takes out all like the scary parts. So the framing device is adult Fred Savage in the same bed, like in the same set, and Deadpool reading the book the book of Deadpool 2 to adult Fred Savage. So it's like that's pretty clever. Like if you're gonna do that, like do it in Deadpool style and like make it a thing. Like bring attention to this.
And then when he's like, when he asks him to like keep stuff in, it could be like, instead of he's just fighting the bad guys, be like, he chopped his hand off.
Yeah, like I haven't seen it. I don't know how much of it. Like I don't know if it's just literally like the first 5 minutes, or I don't know if it's interspersed.
They didn't make a whole movie, or no?
It's literally just Deadpool 2, but PG-13. But then they add like the first. I don't know if it's just the first 5 minutes of the movie that they do this gag, or if it's interspersed like how it is in Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Such a great movie. I wish there was 4 movies in that.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one. Blade. Maybe this is a side. Again, we're just trying to fill the time. When Billy Crystal, as like the weird troll guy, says "Do believe," we just think it's funny, so we like to quote that. Anyway, let's start to wrap this up. So
critical reception, please.
Yeah, you want it? You want it? You got it. So Rotten Tomatoes has an 84%, which is around what the first film got.
All right, that's passing.
So people really liked it.
It's a B+, or B.
This is the critical consensus. Though it threatens to buckle under the weight of its meta gags, Deadpool 2 is a gory, gleeful lampoon. I read lampoon as tampon originally in my head. A gory, gleeful lampoon of the superhero genre.
Oh my god, I snorted.
Superhero genre buoyed by Ryan Reynolds' undeniable charm.
Buoyed. Not Boyd.
Oh, buoyed. I guess that's true. I think people I think people liked it more than we did, but I think most people liked the first one more.
It definitely buckles under the weight of its meta gags.
Oh shit! And on Letterboxd, it has a 3.5, which is again around what the first film got on Letterboxd, or has on Letterboxd, because it's always changing. I think both of these are a little bit generous, and again, 84% on Rotten Tomatoes is not a B, because that would imply that it's a percent measure of its quality, where it only tells us 84% of people give it a positive review. It could have 100%, but 100% of reviewers is giving it a 6 out of 10.
I understand.
Okay, favorite part of the movie.
You go first.
Oh, I don't know. You go first. There were some funny gags in it. I'm trying to think of like what was my favorite. Probably the first 10 minutes. Just you know what I mean? Like.
Okay. Well,
I felt like I was like, if this is what the rest of the movie's gonna be like, I'm down to clown. Like I'm for this.
Yeah. I would probably say, because I love the representation of a strong WOC as one myself. I love.
Maybe I should change my answer.
I love Domino and I love Al. Mm-hmm. And
what if Al is Domino but in the future?
Maybe.
Is that racist?
I don't think she would go blind if she's like lucky, right? Like
shit, you're right.
like maybe if she was born blind, then that would make sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So 1 out of 10, what are you giving this movie? You gave the first one a 5.
I'll give it a 6. Yeah.
So you think it's okay? It's a net positive.
Yeah, I didn't want to stab my eyes out like I did with the last one. But again, it's not. If
you want to stab your eyes out with the first one, I feel like you should have given it a much lower score than 5. Like stab your eyes out was like a 2 or a 3.
It's just not for me. But it was a lot better than the other one, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Similarly, I think I'm also gonna give it a 6, and I'm gonna also put it above the original Deadpool. Mm-hmm. But I think because I also gave X-Men: The Last Stand a 6, mm-hmm. I'm gonna.
Wait, which one? Oh, The Last Stand.
I'm gonna put it below The Last Stand. I'm sorry, The Last Stand's not a really good movie, but it's fun to watch.
The one with the bridge. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's funny, but it's not meant to be funny, and that's why it's funny. So I think I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah. So, let's see. Okay, this one's definitely a shorter episode, but it's not like 30 minutes.
Why do you keep commenting on that?
Well, because it's like weird if all the other ones are like 2 hours long and this one's like 30 minutes.
It just happens to be what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. That's the way it crumbled cookie-wise, you know?
All right, well, that's it for this. It's only downhill from here. That's it for this week's episode of Now That's What I Call a Franchise. Next week, we'll be watching the next film in the franchise, the 2019 film, Dark Phoenix. Also, a bunch of dogs just had a seizure above us, in the apartment above us. Viviana, where can they find us?
You guys can find us wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Franchise Podcast.
We know you have many podcasting options, and we thank you for choosing us. Peace out, guys.
Bye.